Good morning, everyone. My name is Emma Coley, and it is my honor today to introduce one of my closest friends, roommates, and sister, Hope Schrott. Her journey here at Westminster has been anything but dull. She has been a voice in several organizations, from Habitat for Humanity to Council for Exceptional Children. She has touched many hearts by just knowing her. Hope is one of the most kind, positive, and passionate people I have ever known. It is ironic enough that her name, Hope, is actually what she gives to every child she has ever taught. I am so proud and honored to be a part of her life and journey here at Westminster. She will no doubt change the world and impact every child she reaches out to. This past summer has been one that changed her life, and she would like to share her passion and faith with all of us here today. So with that, I would like to introduce to you Hope Schrott. Well, good morning. First, I'd like to thank all of you for coming here today. It's so comforting to see so many friends, faculty, and family members here. I feel so loved and supported by my family, both here at Westminster and at home. I wouldn't be standing up here today if it weren't for all of you, and your encouragement, your laughter, and your love has been such a pivotal part in my journey the past 3 years. I think it's kind of fitting that I'm the first senior chapel of the year. In many aspects of my life, I'm always the first. I was the first child to be born to my parents. I was the first grandchild to be born to both sides of my family, and with that came great responsibility. I had to name my grandparents, whom I've named Mugga and Bup. 2 of them are sitting here today. Not sure where that name came from. I named pacifiers Nunnies, also have no clue where that came from. I was the first to go to school, the first to have a boyfriend, the first to learn to drive, the first to attend college. My birthday's also in September, so I was often the first to experience things in school as well. I have to say that sometimes I wouldn't be super happy about going first, but over time I've learned to embrace it and jump on any opportunities that came my way. Westminster has given me so many possibilities to develop in this role of being first, and to use the times that I find myself being first into opportunities to lead. I've been able to have many leadership positions in the organizations that I'm involved in here on campus. I have loved taking underclassmen under my wing and leading them in different ways through Fresh Start, my sorority, different Habitat trips, my YPS scholarship, just to name a few. I've been able to form friendships and lasting relationships through these leadership positions and first steps that I've taken as well. I thrive when I have a schedule and a plan, knowing what is going on and what is to come next, so I can prepare myself as well as lead others in change. I have had the good fortune to not only be taught by incredible professors, but also have aunts and a grandmother model for me what excellence in teaching looks like as I prepare for my own fast-approaching career as an elementary or special ed school teacher. I've learned from them that a teacher leads their students in lessons and needs to be organized and know what the plan is for the whole week. They need to take into consideration each child's specific learning ability and style, how to manage personalities, and encourage the best from each student, and doing all of this while teaching to the standards that the state expects from them. I was able to get a little taste of this through my summer job at YouthWorks. YouthWorks is a nonprofit mission organization located in 72 sites throughout the country, Puerto Rico, and Canada. They run mission trips for junior high and senior high students during the summer. I was hired as the Kids Club coordinator and was placed in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I got to be the first in my family to do work in missions away from home in another state for the whole summer, and I was selected by YouthWorks to inhabit a new job title for the summer, as I was in charge of 4 Kids Clubs versus the normal 1. Kids Club is basically like a summer-long vacation Bible school program. The theme this summer was Fruits of the Spirit, so each week a different fruit and Bible superhero were focused on. For example, week 1 was Ruth and kindness. They kind of went together. There was also a memory verse for the week that we tried to get the kids to memorize. There was a sharing square time where I came and talked about the theme, and the junior high students performed skits and songs for the kids. Then the kids were split into 3 groups and put into rotations of crafts, games, and reading, which were led by the middle school students. Normally at other sites, there's only one Kids Club location. Therefore, the Kids Club staff person stays at that one site and can monitor what is going on and interact closely with the children that come to the program. That, however, was not the case for me. I was put in charge of 4 different Kids Clubs, as I said before, which were located in rec centers throughout the city of Chattanooga. Instead of having the average 40 or so children under my care, I was in charge of around 200 underprivileged kids. I have incredible stories of the amazing ways that God stretched and grew me through these kids, but that's a whole nother chapel. A part of my job was not just running the kids clubs, but teaching junior high students how to run the kids clubs and interacting with the kids in meaningful ways. I also had to teach them how to cook for 50 to 75 people, which was sometimes simply just showing them where the fridge was, also known as my most stressful moments. Loving on them through the rigorous schedule each day as we woke them up at 7:15, went straight to breakfast, had building cleanup, devotions, and then straight to the service sites. And as soon as they were done around 3, they went to showers at a college downtown. They had or made dinner, and then it was off to our evening activity. As soon as we got back from our activity, it was time for club, then church group time, and lights out around 10:30, which always ended up being more around 11. Groups came to our housing site, which was in a church in the suburbs of Chattanooga, every Sunday evening for the 9 weeks that I was there. As you can see, we were constantly going with only a designated 2 hours time off during the week. This proved to be super exhausting, but in the best way possible. When running a camp like this, it's pivotal to form a bond with the rest of your staff. My staff consisted of an area director, Courtney. She was in charge of our site, as well as the sites in Birmingham and Alabama, or in Atlanta. Birmingham isn't in Alabama. She was kind of my boss's boss, but became a huge point of stability, friend, and mentor to me throughout the summer. There was the site director, John, who was in charge of the finances in the overall site, as well as being our boss, but also a major support to us. There was the program staff, Garrett, who was in charge of leading the nightly evening activity, as well as leading worship and speaking at club. The service coordinator, Kyle, yes, she's a girl, but her name is Kyle, was in charge of the various service sites, such as the food bank, Head Start, and elderly homes. And then there was myself, who was in charge of running the kids clubs. Because there was only 4 of us total, and because of the intensity of our schedule, we relied on each other for everything, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. When there was some changes in our original staff, I became very weary. Things happened that I couldn't be in control of. God answered a huge prayer by sending Kyle into my life. We ended up being the only 2 original staff to stay on site, and God knew that as we were paired together. Kyle and I relied on each other for everything, for support, laughter, comfort, and the reoccurring weekly Starbucks run. She was, and still is, such an answer to prayer, and it is amazing to look back and see God's hand over our relationship in the events that unfolded this summer. Every morning, we had about 20 minutes of devotion time. Wednesday's theme was always unity. We challenged the students to go out and do their devotions together with another person to form unity and to begin to think what it means to be united. Kyle and I did our weekly Wednesday devotions together, and this Wednesday, during week 4, it proved to be a little bit different. For a basic emotional synopsis thus far of the summer, it was week 4, which was the very middle of the summer. Neither of us had showered for 3 days, and we were so exhausted. I was having difficulty with communication with the rec centers the kids clubs were located in, and therefore we often had adult leaders who were not the most flexible with schedule change. Also something God taught me, flexibility. Our staff was changing yet again, and we had a tougher group of students who just didn't seem to get it. Needless to say, Kyle and I were really discouraged and stressed about life at that moment. Kyle received a devotional book from a friend called Jesus Calling. The passage that day on June 27th was one that completely changed my outlook on the summer and the rest of my life, specifically my role as the first. It was super comforting to myself and Kyle, not only in the craziness of the summer that was occurring around us, but also in the near future as we both look at life and all that is before us in this coming senior year. This is what the passage says, and it's written as if Jesus was talking. Rest with me a while, for you have journeyed up a steep, rugged path in recent days. The way ahead is shrouded in uncertainty. Look neither behind you nor before you. Instead, focus your attention on me, your constant companion. Trust that I will equip you fully for whatever awaits you on your journey. I designated time to be a protection for you. You couldn't bear to see all your life at once. Though I am unlimited by time, it is in the present moment that I meet you. Refresh yourself in my company, breathing deep draughts of my presence. The highest level of trust is to enjoy me moment by moment. I am with you, watching you wherever you go. It then introduces Psalm 143:8, which reads, Let me hear in the morning of your steadfast love, for in you I trust. Make me know the way I should go, for to you I lift up my soul. It felt like at that moment God smacked me in the face. I imagine him saying, Come on, Hope, I've been here all along. You have been too busy taking the first steps yourself and following the schedule. I've been the one that made the path before you, and I've created your schedule. Just follow me, and I'll provide for you. I'd been so consumed with making sure I was leading correctly, I was forming the relationships with the kids, and I was in charge of the direction of my future. But I'm not, and neither are any of you. Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it's the purpose of the Lord that will stand." Being someone who is always the first and making the plans, it's hard to accept. I like to be in charge and to know what's going to happen. I'd like to know if I'll have a job next year, where it will be, where I'll live, who will be my friends, what grade I'll teach. I'd like to know when I'm going to meet my husband and get married, or if I've already met him. I'd like to know a lot of things. But God really taught me that day that I'm not supposed to know all of that. This isn't my life that I'm living. This is God's life that he's given me. Why am I so insistent on being in charge? It is the moments where I step back and let God take the wheel that I see incredible things happen. God will always provide, and he will provide in greater ways than any of us can even imagine. The only thing we have to do is trust in him, and this isn't an easy thing to do at all. I believe it's a process for me. So as I enter my senior year here at Westminster, I'm choosing to live my life in the present. I know it's not going to always be easy, and I know I'm going to want to take many of the first steps, but I do know that if I rest with God for a while, he will provide and he will guide me and all of you to the places where he can use us best. So I challenge you to rest with God and see where he takes you. Please pray with me. Lord, I thank you for the rest you give us and the provision and guidance that is always a step ahead. I pray that we would be able to give up any concerns or questions to you, and that